Hello everyone. Today I wanted to do another pen rummage. The thing that made me think of it was the fact that we seem to have more pens and pencils than we ever had before. I don't know why. I don't know why. Just organizing pens and pencils, there really isn't all that much to talk about what I'm doing. But I just thought I would chat with you a little bit, off and on, whatever comes to mind. And I'll tell you first off that the Victoria's Secret bag that I have these pens and pencils in are not at all remotely close to what I keep these in. I just know that some of you like the Victoria's Secret bag and the crinkles that it makes. So I'm trying to work that a little bit. I do remember when I first started listening to ASMR that I was particularly intrigued with this one channel. I think it was called Wordless ASMR. I think it was called that. And she and one other person that I knew did a pencil sharpening video, pencil organizing, and I loved it. I fell in love with it immediately. And I also had searched for those sounds as well because it's one of my favorite triggers. It kind of goes along in my memory with if you could put yourself back to elementary school, sitting next to the girl that has the neat little collection of pens and pencils in her bag. And when I was going to school, it was these little, they're plastic nowadays, but back then, I think they were, maybe they weren't plastic, but they're, what you keep on the rungs of your notebook in the front. A little pouch for pens and pencils and erasers. I specifically remember a young girl my age in the classroom whose name was Jennifer. She had the best of everything all the time. And so I would look on and listen to her rummaging and straightening her pens and pencil pouch. So I loved it. The kids around us were turning pages or rustling, rummaging, I should say, through their backpacks, whatever, There were quintessential two types of people. that I recalled, and one of them was the super neat and tidy person like Jennifer, who kept everything immaculate. But in her efforts to do that, she was making sounds that I loved. The other quintessential type of person was the person who messed things up all the time, and their backpacks were complete chaos. So, if you were to title it Quintessential Messer, Quintessential Chaos, that would be them. But the sound that they made was rummaging through the backpack, trying to find their homework from the night before. But it's not in their notebook. It is crumpled and bent or torn, and they are trying to find it. And I totally see them. They've pulled out their paper, they found it, and they plop it on their desk, and they are quickly smoothing it out and trying to take the wrinkles out in order to hand it in. And it might have like a grease stain on it, or folds. It's been folded up 5 times, or just smashed. It just was just the funniest thing to me to note the completely different stereotype of person. But I was in between, because I did not have all the fine things and the super organizational skills as a child. But I was not chaotic or messy either. I was pretty average, I think, growing up. Except that I was a nerd. I guess you could say I was a nerd. Not in your most typical form. I didn't wear Poindexter glasses. I didn't look funny. But I was very shy. Oh, so painfully shy. I wouldn't even know what to say if somebody came up and started talking to me, unless I already knew them. I didn't wear makeup. I didn't have the newest fashions. But I was okay. I was okay. Had a group of friends of my own. And I think being the type of person who was more introverted allowed me to experience ASMR maybe more than other people. I don't know why exactly, but that's a theory, that if you experienced ASMR when you were young, that you were possibly more in tune to your surroundings, listening, observing, wondering. So I was very, very, very much in touch with the sounds around me, and things were making impressions on me in a huge way, very impactful. I wonder sometimes if people who experience triggers from sounds are perhaps more sensitive than others. I don't know. Theory. That's just theory. I don't actually have any rhyme or reason here about my arranging of these pens and pencils. But I want to get them in groups that are logical, because I think this time around I'm not going to scatter these all over the house again. I might try to keep them a little closer at hand in the groups that they're in. I'll try anyway. The colored pencils were a result of I believe I bought those because of the children that I was attending on the bus. I was a special needs attendant on the local school bus here in Portland, Tennessee. And the children did like to color, so that is why I bought the colored pencils and the felt pens, the Crayola felt pens. The regular pens that I'm finding in here, the blue and the red and the black, are just a collection of my husband and I just purchasing, bringing in. The highlighters are just me going, oh, these are pretty. And the pencils, the neon number 2 writing pencils are just me thinking, ooh, how pretty. Or seeing something secondhand in a consignment or thrift store. You just, you think about what you can afford, and I have to say that I really do believe in retail therapy. So it's like, what can we afford? It makes you feel good, even if just temporarily, to go buy something for yourself. And I believe that we all should reward ourselves with a thing here and there. And that is opposed to taking out your credit card and going out and buying a $3,000 stereo or TV. I am not in that income bracket. So I look at these pens and pencils and I go, yeah, this was retail therapy. And just saying, okay, these little things I can afford. Keeping all my little purchases at $20 or less. And every once in a while I see something I've got to have to make a video with. I just recently went to a antique store. That's right, it was an antique store, and I took my daughter, and I saw the cutest rusty wagon. And all sorts of nostalgia just flowed through my brain. I was like, I remember the gritty sound of wheels riding over the concrete where there might have been gravel or just dirt or whatever, and the wheels going over that. And memories cropped up of when my kids were little, and I think I had it was like, the kids had a wagon that would fit about 2 little children in it. And I didn't have a car at the time, so I had to have this wagon because it reminded me so much of those days. And when I didn't have a car and I would put 2 of the kids in the wagon and one of them would walk and they would take turns walking. And we would go down to the local penny store. It's just the cutest little place with wooden floors. And I would go down there just for something for all of us to do because we were so strapped for money and cash at the time. I would just, give them each like 5 pennies and they could pick out 5 penny candies. And I think they have good memories of that. But that's what that wagon reminded me of. And so I am going to make a video with that wagon. I also purchased another very vintage looking toy that has just the nicest sound, so I want to try to make that. We'll see if I can pull it off. I don't know. It's tricky sometimes. Microphone placement is everything. Making sure that when you edit a video that you change the volume up or down on something depending on how loud it is. Knowing when something is jarring to the ears, jumps out at you. Sometimes I miss it, I'll do it wrong. I don't know. It's interesting how, given an opportunity to just chat, we can find so many memories to pull out of our memory bank. The other thing that came up in my mind because of the wagon was that eventually, because we didn't have a car, I think, how did I do this? I can't remember how I managed. I think I scraped together a little bit of money and bought what you call a bike trailer. You put it's like a little tent with wheels. You attach it to the back of a bike. And so I think I went and got that without letting my husband know. And I can't remember how I scraped the money together, but this was in my first marriage where things were very controlled and I was very afraid to do do things just that, it's like, just sneak this, because you don't want to get in trouble. And it was easy to get in trouble. So somehow I found that money and I purchased a bike trailer. And I put it on the back of my bike. And oh my goodness, how much fun it was to put all three of those children in the back of that little thing. They loved it. They're getting a ride in a miniature little tent on wheels. How could you not love that? Looking out at everything. And that allowed me then to go far enough away from my house to get to the local grocery store without a car. And so I would put the few groceries that I needed in a basket on my bike. And then I think I put a few groceries on their lap inside the trailer. It was one of those little precious memories of things that were good in the storm of my life that was bad. You just do what you gotta do. And one thing that I've always done is try to find little bits of joy in every negative circumstance that I've ever been in. Those were precious times, in spite of the trials. I had somebody the other day tell me that they thought that I was being too negative on my channel. I think perhaps what she means is that I'm being too real and talking about the things that really happen in life. And in telling you these stories, I don't seek to make anybody sad or to create an atmosphere of gloom, but I hope that relating to my stories will allow you to see hope in the midst of darkness, because there is so much trial for all of us in our lives, and it's real life. And so you listen to a video like this and take hope. There are many people who've walked the road before you of trials and suffering and joy and victory and overcoming. I think I've said it in other videos before, I don't know for sure, but I think of that line from the movie Princess Bride. And the little Sicilian guy who says inconceivable. He's always saying that word in the video, in the movie. They're on the boat, and they were talking about pain. And this Sicilian guy, he says to her, "Life is pain, princess. Anything who tells you different is selling you something." And I'm like, touche, so perfectly said, because it's true. And I just agree. And that might be negative to some people to think in those terms, but and something else too. I may have said this before as as well, but my grandmother, my mom's mom, she had been through a lot of stuff. She went through the Depression of the 1930s. And I guess coming from out of all of that kind of suffering, she used to say to me, oh, it made me so mad. Oh, it always made me so mad. She'd say, cheer up, the worst is yet to come. And I was going, Grandma, oh my gosh, you are so gloomy. I'm just like, I'm a kid, so of course I'm thinking, hey, the world is my oyster, everything lies ahead, I'm going to be so happy, I'm going to find the perfect man, I'm going to get married and live happily ever after, you know, Disney kind of stuff. And there I am, you know, so hopeful about so many things. And once I made, you know, the first wrong choice and started to suffer the consequences of my first wrong choice, well, there you go. Let the trials begin. Because once you make your first wrong choice, even more consequences will ensue after that. So, and then you start learning. You really start learning that happiness and joy is a choice. Having nothing to do with your circumstances. You live. You live and you just do it as gracefully as possible. And I have found through a great many bouts with depression and self-pity that there's a way out of that. And I have had a lot of sorrows, a lot. But the happiest moments of my life have been in the midst of sorrows. That's the truth. Many people will tell you, as they recall, oh, let's see, it's a classic kind of story, you know, where people have been through hard times, you know, like married couples, when they first get married and they go through all of these hard times, and then they end up making money or they succeed, and then, you know, they start to take all these wonderful things for granted, and your life's going along smoothly, and it's good, it's good. Sometimes it'll flatline, you know, and then they start looking at one another and saying, remember when? And they'd say, we were happier when we had nothing, because there was so much meaning in their lives while they were trying to survive, and they were close to each other. Here comes the train. Here comes the train. Choo-choo. Choo-choo. How loud is that? Let's see, we've had dogs today and birds and trains. Maybe you haven't heard the dogs or the birds, but I do. I hear every little sound whenever I'm recording. I'm very aware of it. Alright, now we are on to putting everything in their perspective packages. don't know if I'll be leaving pens and pencils in these bags, but I'm definitely going to start keeping everything closer at hand. So now I'm going to struggle a little bit over which pile goes in which bag. Oh, something I wanted to talk to you about, those of you who are still, if you're still tuned in, and if you're still listening, that I get comments and notifications from YouTube whenever a new comment comes in. The comments are actually, they're consistent about getting me those, but there are still many comments that YouTube will delete. And I have no full understanding as to why that happens. Some will just, I will get a notification for it and I'll see maybe the first 3 words of it. And then I go over to where the comment was made from the notification. And it'll be gone. It just won't be there. I want you to know that there are many, many comments like that YouTube is blocking. I'm not. My only theory is, and I've heard from other people, that YouTube does not appreciate, it may even be a setting I put on there, to don't put links in comments. Links will get blocked. If you are so, if a link and something you want me to see is so important, then please go ahead and email me. I will be happy to check out any video or that kind of thing that you'd like to show me from there. So links get blocked, but there's other stuff like a lot of extra emoticons or weird printing or maybe all capitals, just anything that YouTube is suspicious of. Bad words, foul language, and there's a few words that I have blocked. And so, I would say if your comment disappears or can't be found for some reason, most likely it is YouTube saying that you're commenting too much or you're looking a little suspicious. I don't know what the criteria is exactly. So, if a comment disappears and you're getting frustrated and you gotta say something to me, go ahead and email me or try rewriting your comment in such a way that has less emoticons. I don't know, just, and don't comment as frequently on everybody's channel. That's all I can think of. And then I also have a habit of deleting comments that are politically heated or religiously preachy or things that I think will disturb the equilibrium or cause arguments. I also delete comments that are extremely critical and rude. Sometimes, occasionally, we could all behave and have nice conversations, but So, as long as I'm the moderator of my channel, I try to keep it peaceful and positive. So, the other thing that I would tell you is that though I get most of my comments, I have a lot of replies that are not being shown to me. And I don't know why that is. I'll get a little round red dot on my notifications that tells me when a new video from one of my favorite channels has uploaded, or when somebody's replied to me or commented. So I kind of rely on that. And then it will say at the top that I have 30 notifications. And then I click on that little dot, and I will only find 5 out of 30. It's like, why? I don't know. I don't know. So sometimes when or if you reply somewhere on someone else's or mine, and you don't get an answer, or at least a little heart, a lovey heart or something, that means I just didn't get it, because I try to keep up with all my replies and all my comments. So always remember not to be hurt or take it personally if your message is gone. So just be careful not to be a pot stirrer. Pot stirrer. You pot stirrer. Where did I see that? I heard that on a movie once. But anyway, yeah. So that I or YouTube do not delete your comments. Probably some of you have noticed that I'm a little sensitive to criticism, and yet I am totally open to criticism, critiques. But there is an art to kindness and diplomacy. And if you want to reach me, seriously, be kind and diplomatic. Or, if it's that important to you, please email. Because it's less embarrassing to me. And I will be able to hear you better. If it's public like that, and it embarrasses me, delete, delete, delete. Because basically I make videos in order to help people relax, and I'm not in it for pain and criticism. That's just the bottom line. And I hate to say it, I don't like to be negative in my videos, but I'm just being honest with you about how the comment section works. And a lot of artists just leave all of it up there. They just don't bother, they don't read, they don't watch, they don't care what's being said or done underneath their videos, but I do care, and I'm not sure why. I guess it's just because I love the people. I love the people. So that's all there is to say about that. Life is a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're gonna get. Okay, we're starting to get to the bottom of the pile here, so let's see. There's a bunch of these that are, oh, I guess they're permanent ink. They're the Sharpies. Got them in so many different colors. That's one thing that Avery has not done since she has been in my house. She does not write on anything. I figure 7 years old. Yeah. That's one thing she knows better about. But I keep her busy with crafts, you know. I'd like to film more of the crafts that Avery and I do together. But the problem with that is that it decreases the amount of enjoyment that she and I have in actually doing those crafts together. If we are worried about being quiet or, you know, there's limitations to things when you film. Like dropping things. Or about burping. Oh my goodness. I can't believe how many times during videos you might be starting to get hungry and all of a sudden there's a burp, or you have to sneeze, or you cough. Just so many little intrusive things to making videos that, I mean, it can be very, very relaxing when I'm doing stuff like this by myself, and it is. But it's like splice, cut, edit, here comes the cat. The cat is going through the cat door in the back, and bam, there's just all this noise. And here comes the car. Sometimes I'll try to edit out the trains. All kinds of things, I guess. But she and I do some really fun crafts, and she's very creative, so sometimes I'll just bring out the craft box and say, okay, what shall we do? Is it going to be glitter? Or are we going to cut things out and glue them? Or I think I've spoiled her enough to where just sitting down and coloring in a coloring book just isn't as exciting anymore. The other day we took out some paper plates and some of those leftover Valentine's hearts, and we just glued it to the paper plate, and then we just put like glitter and sequins and stuff all over it and edges, and we took the glue bottle and just made like a shape with the glue, and then you sprinkle the glitter all over the lines of glue so that, like mine had the word love that I actually wrote with the glue, and so that I put glitter all over the word love. And anyway, so it turned out really nice, and it was just a for fun type of activity. Her mother, Brianna, my daughter, just got a job at the bank, and I'm so excited. She will have the money she needs now. Oops, get back. Okay, yeah, so now I'm watching Avery in the afternoon from whenever she gets off the bus. I get her off the bus, and we walk home together from the bus stop, and we kind of just have fun from about 3 o'clock to 5:15. working when her mother gets home. And this last weekend we had so much fun learning how she learned how, I taught her for the first time, how to jump rope. And I was looking around going, man, she's got so much energy and I don't have it, so I've got to figure out a way to get her to use up her energy. So I sent my husband out to the shed. I said, make us a homemade jump rope. And he found some perfectly good heavy rope and some PVC pipe for handles. Tied a knot, and voila, we have a jump rope for Avery. And I taught her, and she learned so fast. She is a good little jump roper now. It was fun. So soon, Brianna and Avery will be moving out now that Brianna has a job, and I think I'll still be babysitting Avery in the afternoons. So we'll probably always be coming up with some kind of craft or fun thing to do. And then somewhere in all of that, I'm visiting both Brianna and Abigail and my husband and trying to find time to make videos in between. And this is the reason why I have not made any baking videos for a while, because the kitchen is rarely free or quiet. So, we'll see what the future holds. We'll see. I have some cookies to make. I've got to make some cookies. Now, this wonderful Victoria's Secret bag is so pretty and soft. And I just want to make a video where I just crinkle this, and that's all I do. But I have a hard time with that. Always have to be doing something practical. So I hope that you've enjoyed a little bit of those crinkles and some of the crinkles from the pencil bags and tinkling sound of the pens and pencils together. I've enjoyed our little chat, even though it's all been a one-sided monologue. I oftentimes wish that there could be a dialogue. Better get this closed before I put that in. Okay, there we go. There we go. Someday I'd love to have a guest with me. I wonder if I could make that happen. Have a subscriber come and make a video with me. Special guest. I'll have to think about how that could be made possible. And we could do something together. Well, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you all have just a lovely evening. Good night's sleep. And I will see you in the next